Welcome. If you are in need of some tough love or accountability, then you are in the right class. So come on in, grab a coffee, grab a seat, and let's get started with today's lesson. Now we're going to call this Storytime Sunday, where we find random story times. We're going to watch it together and pretty much discuss it. Now for this one, I'm going to give y'all a trigger warning because it can be a lot. It might get a little dark. It might get a little graphic. Trigger warning. All right, before we get started, make sure that y'all are subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications turned on so you can get notified when we have our next lesson. Now for the story times, I may not stop it too much because I want y'all to get all of the story, but I'll still be in the comments with y'all. Whew. All right, so I was on TikTok the other day and I came across this young lady and she's 18 years old, right? So she's like, get ready with me while I tell y'all how I was dating a serial killer. And me, I'm thinking like, girl, what you mean a serial killer? You know what? I'm gonna just let y'all watch it.
Get ready with me while I tell you about my ex who was a serial killer. To preface, I'm 18 years old. We met when I was 17 and she was a 50-year-old police officer.
Now, right off the bat, you saying you was 17 and she was a 50-year-old police officer? You shouldn't have even been talking to that lady.
We met online on TikTok when she found my account and followed me and started liking and commenting on all of my TikToks. I didn't think anything of it until she started heavily flirting with me in my comment section, and so I ended up going to look on her account and saw that she was a police officer. It went a while until we ended up actually interacting with each other when she DM'd me one day and did the little waving thing, and we talked for a little while over in our TikTok DMs. And long story short, we talked for a couple of days before I ended up giving her my number. And we started texting and calling from there. She seemed pretty normal for like a 50-year-old, but granted, she shouldn't have been talking to me at the time. I told her I was 18 at first before telling her a couple of days later that I was actually 17.
Oh, so you started offline. Okay.
And she wasn't fazed. She continued talking to me. And our relationship kind of kickstarted there. It went very, very fast. Like, it was almost immediate that she had kind of put her claim down on me for the most part. She would always talk about wanting to come see me, and she lived in Miami and I live in Atlanta, so we were talking long distance. She would always talk about how she wanted to see me, how she wanted to come up, how she was so excited to have met me, and she was already falling in love with me because I was so smart and so beautiful and all the groomy things. And I'm pretty smart, so I knew what was going on, but I was just entertaining it for, I guess, my own enjoyment. But it started to intensify really, really, really fast. And she would say things that were randomly really possessive and kind of creepy. And I should have blocked her then, but I didn't. And we started calling maybe 2 weeks after she got my number, and we would call during the night and just kind of talk about everything.
Wait, so she's already fallen in love with you and it ain't been but a couple weeks? Yeah, that lady knew exactly what she was doing and she knows she had the right fool.
And then there was one night where we were talking about work, her job, and I had asked her, I was like, have you ever killed anyone on duty, or ever had to do that on duty, or had to shoot someone? And she said, on duty or off duty? And I said, both. Weird fucking question. Why would you have killed someone off duty?
And at that point, you should have blocked that lady and you should have stopped talking to her. Delete, 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 block, block, block.
And she started telling me about it. She told me that she had killed someone the very first time when she was 15 years old because she was in a gang. She had been in a gang since she was 13.
15 is crazy. What the hell you doing at 15 to where you need to kill somebody?
And then the next couple of ones were when she was 18, 20, 21, just as she got older, she just continued.
So this is a hobby for her now.
At this point, I definitely should have left, but I'm a curious person, and if someone is admitting to having murdered people, I want to know more.
I don't know, you're either a curious person or you on the same type of shit that they own.
And she wasn't in my state, wasn't in my city, and I was like, if this goes left, I can just block her and be done with it. Pause, look how cute my shirt is. It's backless. So after this, she ended up telling me a lot more, really descriptive details about how the Everglades, because it's like sacred property or something, that they go and dump bodies in the Everglades and let like all the animals like eat the bodies.
Now, if you from Miami or if you've ever been to Miami and did one of them little Everglades tours, you know that water is so murky and they be having all them gators up in there. Now you know they got bodies in there too. So yeah, I won't be doing no more of those.
And she would also tell me about like her torture methods and how she would have to do what she called grab and smash, or like smash and grab or something, where she would pick someone up off the street and like beat the shit out of them and drop them off somewhere. She would have to do like pickups and drop offs for her gang, where she would go and pick people up and then deliver them to the gang for them to do whatever they needed to do to that person. To this day, I'm not really sure why she was telling me all of these things and trusting me with it, considering that we had only talked for like 2 weeks. And I was a 17-year-old girl that definitely would have like squealed. But silly old me. Of course I didn't, because I didn't really have a lot of information on her and I didn't know what to do with that information that I had found out, so I just kept talking to her. After that, she started making more direct threats towards me, being like, I really want you to be mine, like, if you don't, like, I don't know what I'll do. And I was taking that as a sign of like, oh, like, if I don't engage in this relationship with you, like, you're going to do something to me. So I continued talking to her, and 2 weeks later, after she told me, she came to my city to meet up with me. And I was petrified, but I felt like I couldn't say no because she had pushed for it for like days and days and was being really aggressive towards me if I didn't. So she flew up and stayed in a hotel, and I met up with her, and inevitably we did what people do in relationships. After that time in the hotel, she basically declared that I was her girlfriend and that I wasn't going to go anywhere, or else she would do terrible things to me and my family. And later on throughout our relationship lasted about like maybe 10 months.
Yeah, see, that's crazy as hell because you pretty much held hostage in your relationship. Like, I really hate that she gave this lady so much of her information and she met up with her. Like, I really hate that.
She started to, So after that, she started coming up to see me more. So she would come up to Atlanta maybe like twice a month. And she would stay for a weekend or a couple of days, and we would see each other during that. During a couple of those stays, she had pulled a knife on me, pulled a gun on me, but also promised that she would never do anything to hurt me, promised that I was her number one, her only one, her soulmate, her all of the things. And I felt pretty stuck. I didn't really know what to do. I felt like if I left, that would be like her breaking point. And later I found out that it was her breaking point, because once I had talked about what she would do if we broke up, she was like, oh, I will literally drive this knife through your whatever, and like, you're done, like, you don't get to leave me.
This is crazy. That's why you got to be paying attention to what your teenagers doing, who they talking to, who they friends are, because you can't even go on TikTok these days.
After a while, she gifted me a necklace that was a chain with a cross on it that she told me if I ever took off that she would kill me.
Now, when I read her caption, she said that the necklace that she's wearing now, this isn't the one she's talking about.
And she would send me all sorts of gifts and presents and money, and also a lot of drugs. I started cocaine because of her. She would send me cocaine in the mail, and she would send it to me, peer pressure me into doing it. She would give me all sorts of things to try, and she was a really heavy addict and a really heavy drinker. She did heroin, cocaine. She drank constantly, so she was always in an aggressive mood. About 6 months in, she told me that she wanted to marry me. Mind you, she was already married to another woman and had 4 kids of her own, 2 of which were under the age of 5. But she told me that she was going to divorce her wife and that we were going to have kids together, and that on my 18th birthday, I was going to go to Miami to live with her and get married. Somewhere in between this, she started to grow a lot of resentment for my mom, because my mom was obviously keeping me from like being with her full time, being with her a lot, talking to her all the time. So she told me about how she planned to kill my mom.
Now, I'm wondering if she told her mom the truth about this lady. Like, did you tell your mom that she was 50, she was a police officer? What did you tell your mom about this lady? Because I can't see your mama ever being cool with you being with somebody of that age, and especially somebody that acts the way that that lady does.
and what she was gonna do, how she was gonna plan it, how she was gonna like break into the house and like all sorts of things. And by that point, she knew where I lived. She knew all of my family's information, and I was super worried. The only problem here is that I had no evidence. Everything she said to me, she said over call. We didn't text. There was barely any like communication or threats that were in our like messages. So everything that she said was just over the phone. Sometime in January, I know that she had killed someone because she told me that she had to go on a job and came back late at night, had to wash all the blood off of her body and whatever, and just, I knew about that one, and that was the most recent one, I believe, and the most, I don't think that there's been anyone else since then.
This is insane. Like, at this point, how does she know this information and she ain't going to the police? Like, why aren't you saying something to the police?
Fast forward to my 18th birthday, she bought me a car, she bought me a ring. She was pretty much ready to go, and I had my flight booked by her. And I got to the airport, made it to the airport, and I was about to get on the flight when my mom found out everything and came to stop me. But before that, I had already put in my phone a statement saying my name, my age, my location, and her name, her age, her location, where she worked. And I clipped every single piece of evidence that I had, all of our sex tapes, everything into a big folder, and I left it where my mom could find it. So my mom came to the airport and called the police and told them that I needed to have a 1013 filed so that I could be involuntarily held in a psychiatric hospital for 3 days just to protect me.
Now, that was smart of her mom, but what does she mean by she clipped this information into a folder? Like, does she mean like a folder on her phone or like a physical folder? Because I'm wondering how her mama got there in time. Girl, I would be terrified.
And then while I was in the psychiatric hospital, my mom contacted the FBI, and the FBI started an investigation and arrested her on a complaint made by my mom. And so she's currently sitting in federal prison awaiting her trial. She hasn't pled guilty or not guilty yet because they're still investigating the murders on top of everything else that like opened Pandora's box because of her arrest. Her name was Carly Miranda Blum. She lived in Miami, Florida. She worked for the Miami-Dade Police Department, and her life is over and I am free.
Y'all, that is crazy. And I went and looked for the article, and child, all of the stuff she was saying checked out. This happened last year, like around June, July. And here you have it. Carly Miranda Blum, 51, sworn uniformed deputy with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. She was arrested today following the filing of a federal complaint. So they charged her with receipt of visual depictions involving the sexual exploitation of minors and production of visual depictions involving the sexual exploitation of minors. So I'm thinking because she was 17 at the time when they were making the sex tapes, this is what they were able to get her on. So if she's found guilty, the crime carries a mandatory minimum of 15 years in prison and a maximum of up to 30 years. Now, as far as the picture of the lady, this is all I was able to find. She definitely looks like a older white lady. And I think they may be trying to, keep people from being able to look her up, because this is the only photo you're going to see of her. Because you can't find no accounts on her, no Instagram, Facebook, nothing. She don't even have a mug shot. So it definitely seems like they're trying to protect her. But here's the actual news report that I found on her.
Says she is very disturbed by the arrest of one of her deputies. The feds laying out in specific detail an alarming and concerning sexually charged relationship that was toxic, allegedly, between a teenager and a 51-year-old deputy. This is Deputy Carly Bloom on the job with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. She's been with the agency 29 years. Tonight, she's in a Georgia jail facing hefty federal charges for her alleged relationship with a 17-year-old girl.
I'm very disturbed by the arrest of one of our deputies. Ultimately, we will always cooperate in law enforcement investigations.
According to federal documents obtained by NBC6, somebody tipped off the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office about Bloom's alleged relationship with the girl because of her declining mental health. The tipster, described as Witness 1, showed law enforcement a device that allegedly had several videos depicting Deputy Bloom engaged in sex acts with the victim when she was under 18 years old. It's unclear how the two met, but the feds say Bloom traveled from Miami to Georgia to have sex with the teen. Investigators also uncovered Instagram messages that were sexual or romantic in nature. There was also a message from Bloom that referred to the purchase of a car for the victim. The complaint says registration records confirmed the purchase. Also, allegedly on Instagram, this string of threatening messages written by Bloom when the victim tried to end their relationship. Bloom allegedly wrote, "We are never done. Leave me and see what happens. I will effing drive my favorite knife through your throat and twist it and watch you slowly." All right, now the deputy was arrested yesterday and is now in a Georgia jail. Coming up new at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you how this whole situation impacted the victim's mental health.
But y'all, this is crazy. Like, I'm wondering, okay, how did she get off the drugs? Because she said the lady was sending drugs to her. How do you even send that in the mail? Like, did she have to go to rehab? Because I think the girl is only 18 in the video, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all, this whole story, it's just a lot. But thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all in the next lesson. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully we can do more of these. Let me know what y'all think.